Atlantic, and we are back with Miss Sophia. She is back from her Greece trip. If you've watched our Tuesday with Tonya before, she got to go through a 4-H program. Tell us what that program was again.
So it is a global immersion trip. We obviously got to go to Greece. I got to go through Ohio 4-H, so it's just all Ohio members. There were 15 of us that went and 3 adults.
Okay, and tell us where all you went. I know you went to Greece, but you got to visit some other places. So where all were your stops when you went on the trip?
So we stopped in Newark or New York. We stopped at their airport. There was a 7-hour layover there.
Okay.
And then we went to Germany, and we stopped there for a layover. That's both on the way there and on the way back.
Okay.
And then we went to Greece.
So when you did on your layover, before we get to the Greece stuff, in Germany, did you get to go out and visit any places?
No, we did not.
Okay.
It was such a short time, and we were all exhausted
I bet.
from the traveling.
I bet.
So, not really. We didn't get to go anywhere.
But you got to say that you went there and you got to bring a fun little challenge.
Yeah, so I got a little challenge coin.
Yeah.
It's super fun. And I brought a magnet back for my dad, and he loves it.
Good. You were there. You know, my husband was born in Germany.
Oh, was he?
He was born in Germany. My father-in-law was stationed over there, so he was actually born in Germany while his father was serving, and of course his mom was there with him. So yeah, so very good. Okay, we've got some things we're going to talk about a little bit that you brought back to kind of show some things. But tell us, when you were in Greece, where were the stops that you got to visit, and what did you do while you were there?
So we stayed at this place called the American Farm School. We stayed in a dormitory, and it's a high school and college mix.
Nice.
Where they do both vocational and a regular high school.
Okay.
So that was super cool to meet all the students from freshman age to senior age, and then beyond that, they do majors, bachelors and majors there. And then we went to Mount Olympus. We hiked about 5,000 feet up. Nice. It was super cool.
I bet. It was you, I bet, once you got up there.
Yes, it was beautiful. Right? We visited ancient Sagittaria.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Yes, it is. Which is where Aristotle was born.
Okay.
And then I went to the beach, like I said, and seen the ocean for the first time.
Yeah, that was fun. So somebody who's seen the ocean for the very first time, what did you think?
It was beautiful. It was weird because you couldn't see anything beyond it, and I'm so seeing the other side of a body of water.
Right.
But
it's a massive. Like when you especially when there's no end, it can be a little overwhelming. But it's very calming and peaceful how it goes in, comes out, and all the good stuff. So did you get to go and do any hands-on stuff while you were there?
Yes. So I did olive oil tasting.
Okay.
I did feta cheese tasting. We watched a few presentations to learn more about Greece.
Okay.
And there's a lot more. I'm trying to remember.
So it's a big trip.
Yes.
It's a big trip. So since this is through the 4-H and you got to go and you got to experience, what is the goal of this trip though? What's the purpose of sending kids from here to Greece? What is the...
So it was to learn more about their agriculture.
Okay.
And then to learn more about their culture.
Yes.
In general. So we learned about how diversity is and how to be more diverse and both in knowing people and in agriculture.
Yes, because it's completely different, I would say soil is different.
Yeah.
You know, everything is different. So the more we can learn from each other, then the better we can be. So do they have the same program that they send people here to America from Greece?
So no. For the most part, it is through schooling.
Okay.
They send people over here to America, so like an exchange student program.
Okay.
But I learned they have an FFA program over there.
How cool is that?
Which is super cool.
Right. And FFA's everywhere, right?
Yeah. So I learned that, and I know a couple of the students from AFS are planning to come over here to spend time with people in Ohio, too.
Okay. So we call that Future Farmers of America. So what do they call theirs?
I'm not sure.
That's okay. I'm just curious about that because I'm like, okay, I wonder what they call theirs.
But it's kind of like how Japan has a program.
Okay. So they have their own. That's cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of this stuff. So walk us through some of the souvenirs that you brought back to share.
So I'll start where we were at. So this here is a snow globe. It's of the White Tower, which used to be a prison. Kind of funny. And it's right on the bay of the ocean surrounding Thessaloniki, which is the town we stayed in.
Okay.
This is a magnet here, which is some more of the monuments. So this is the White Tower, and this is Alexander the Great and Thessaloniki. Here is soil. Oops. Sorry.
You're okay.
This is soil and sand and a rock from Greece, and it's super cool because we just found out. Don't tell anyone, but there was
no one will know on here.
I know. There was a little bug in one of my classmates that I went to Greece with, and it hatched. The egg hatched. So now there's a little bug in one of my friends, jars.
As long as they keep it in the jar.
Yes, as long as they keep it in the jar.
It should be good. Yeah.
And then I have a little magnet here. It's of the monasteries in Meteora. And here is a more close-up picture. We went here and we hiked about probably 1,000 steps that day.
Okay.
Both up and down.
Up and down. Very good. Yeah, that was a hike.
Yes. This here is a jar of honey balm, and bees are a big commodity in Greece.
And you got to go to a bee farm.
Yes, we got to go to a bee farm. It was super cool. So I bought this from one of the local farmers where we went to a local farmer's market. It was about 5 blocks big.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So do they have do they have a lot of farmers markets, like more
yes,
than, like we have a lot around here, I think, little areas, but they have like a larger type
yes, so
market.
Thessaloniki is their second most populous city.
Okay.
So they have one every day in different parts of Thessaloniki. Okay. So we went to one near us, and it was super cool. It was super packed, though. There are probably about 1 million to 2 million people in Thessaloniki.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot. So what is this?
This here is a fig jam preservative. We went to this place. It's called Mariana's. They have grapevines, and they don't do any wine. Okay. No wine, but they make other products. And having fig and grape jam is one of their products. That's not wine. Out of the
How cool is that? Well, that was fun. Thanks for sharing that part with us. But I want to come back to your trip a little bit more. What was the best thing that you, I will say, experienced, or something you learned that you didn't know? What was like something that you came away from there that you wouldn't have known if you wouldn't have gone?
Definitely the people is a big one.
Okay.
Knowing not just the people I went with, but the people from Greece. It's such a different culture.
Okay.
It's a gigantic culture shock when you go, and I would have never known that about it. I would think, oh, they're just like us, and they are just like us, but they're a little bit different.
Yeah, and it's different, yeah.
Yes, and it's a good thing to realize that and learn that, and not just think, oh, they're exactly like us.
Yeah. So what was the biggest difference between the culture? When you said culture shock, what was the biggest shock to you when you went there?
There's a couple. One, you can't throw toilet paper in toilets. You have to throw it in a trash can.
That's right.
That was a gigantic culture shock. Another one is they're super close to you. Like, the distance between us is a pretty comfortable distance.
Safe space.
Yeah. No, they'll be like this right here constantly, and they'll button line. If we have the gaps in the lines here.
They fill it in.
They fill it in, and they don't care.
Okay.
But then they have this thing called halata.
Okay.
Which is you have to be relaxed. Just take it as it is. Mm-hmm. Be relaxed. Be calm. Take it as it is.
That's something we definitely can learn from them. We can all just relax and take it as it goes and not be so hyper strong. Sometimes I think we're just always
and we're go
all the time. Absolutely. So, what would you encourage how somebody in future? How do they get involved to be able to have a chance at this?
So definitely get a hold of your 4-H educator. Mm-hmm. That is the main part of it. Learn more about it. You can look it up on the Ohio 4-H website. Okay. And you can learn more about it there. And
I'll bet some people don't even know it exists.
Yes, there are tons of people that don't even know that it exists. Yeah. But it is a great trip. Just talk to your educator. Talk to people. You reach out to me if you want. Talk to people who've gone. It is a great program.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you got to go. Thanks for coming back and kind of recapping a little bit about the trip. So keep sticking with me as we keep visiting people, places, and things, and we'll see you next time.